Oh, good. Good. See the nose of the door, it's good. Just call you. Take the time to watch it, video of the county meeting today? You should take the time to watch it.
I didn't know about it until about an hour ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
I
they
saw
were
your thing. There was this
They
morning,
just want to click on it this morning, they were tearing it apart. They don't want people to consolidate it. They want us to, yeah. I don't think so either. Actually, one point, I'm say that it's too fast. It's just a joke.
it's 3 people's personal amendment.
Something was supposed to come tonight. So, he's having a change. He's coming tonight, he didn't have that last time. He can hear it. I think he's Chuck. Oh, that. I'm not saying we were discussing, no, I think.
I always, I swear I told you about it.
Chuck told me who's coming.
It's funny because I get the same thing whenever I go for something, or something like that, you know. I probably think
He's coming to Tom George.
I probably did.
He's coming to Tom George, unguarded. I know what that guy is, Tom George. He's Tom George. Chuck. Oh, he's from unguarded, wherever that is.
Oh, that's uncovered.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay, it's good, sorry. Oh, yeah. All right. What is that? You told me.
This place sure warms up quick.
Doesn't it? Because we maintain our prices.
I gotta get mine checked. I used Alltech for years. And it was like the year before last. It was on a Saturday, it was in the fall. It was only like 40, 50 degrees out. It wasn't cold. And the furnace is leaking around. So I called him up, he comes out. Well, it turns out it's just a thermostat. So I said, I don't need a computer. Just do it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't need all that computer shit. Just need a regular thermostat. It's $300. I know. Yeah.
Well, it's Saturday, isn't it?
I said, it's 50 degrees out. You would have told me, like, I couldn't wait until Monday.
Right.
So then he kept calling me up this year to get it
So,
just clean and check. I kept ignoring his calls. Finally, Christie coming.
Oh, not Murphy, this one, no.
You're like, it's 45.
any new business, I did.
This is the best picture I took. We went way out.
There was one in Australia that my daughter used to go to lunch outside, and it was the same California.
Yes, they had me. He wasn't real happy.
I can keep
She
it
got
on.
very close, but she didn't get real close. But the interesting thing was we had eaten at a restaurant, which is way over here on the other side of this little room. And she ran all the way over to the other
Too much for it.
and then ran all the way back into my heart stopped son.
She brings me dinner.
That was almost a
He brought me dinner about
And this little 2-year-old was
10 minutes before I had to leave. I ate.
Chow it down, yeah.
No, I didn't even, because I hate this stress. I just had a little bit upset. She wanted to get home.
full of it. I had to take about 6 or 7 pictures every time. Because they move it so fast. Would you like one?
What is it?
Gum?
Oh,
That's why I laughed.
no, he just gave me a breath and he said,
Yeah, but I do that, and
"Nah."
I think it's okay.
Because Ken and Kristen's pretty much independent.
I'm not Mrs. My
Kind of
daughter.
like passing gas.
And then
Two people are in the elevator, one passes gas, the other one always knows who did it.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
There's some science to it somewhere.
Can't blame the dog.
Nature's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
What movie is that where they're, it's in the rectory and the woman passes gas and they beat the dog or the dog gets up on.
Yeah,
What is
they did, and the dog
Is
got
that with
up.
Adam Sandler? Is that one with Adam Sandler?
I can't remember.
It's like an English bulldog.
Soon after they
I
went to
can't
bed at night.
remember, I just
If you
remember.
I put
The dog gets up.
the
and
little one down a little bit.
You know, I know.
They know how to.
Hey Jamie, guess what?
Chicken butt.
Spelled your name right.
You sure? I'm sure there's something else wrong.
Kids are like that, though. That's okay.
And then
You
about
sure?
an hour later,
It's
then
so
I
funny
would play
because
games.
those things get proved for you like four people.
Yeah.
Tell them that, yes. We have done that all this time. I never know.
Because I don't see anything. 'Cause I
Right.
don't care.
No cause, no trouble.
Everyone knows who I am.
Good thing he didn't know about it. He had a table with him.
Oh, I didn't tell him about it now, so now he's gonna look for it every time.
Yeah, I know. Makes a lot.
Worst that could happen is that they're gonna think I'm the high school kid that were in the
Well, I thought we didn't have to give our last name.
Yeah, it's funny.
You don't.
I always feel like, oh.
And I want to go up there and talk to them. I only had to say my last name. I'm John.
Your first name and the city.
Yeah, right.
I
what I
argued,
thought.
I argued, the first TOI meeting I went to, I said, this is not good, because at that time, they wanted us to list the person's name, address, and where they were sitting. And I said, that's not good. Well, that has to be. And I said, well, if it has to be, I'll do it. But I do not like that at all. So then, the next meeting, all of a sudden, oh, we don't have to do that. I said, I said that all last year. Well,
Did you have a chance to listen to that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
you know,
You gotta listen to it.
I work.
somebody
You
gets
people think.
I work.
I work.
So do I.
No, I was listening, I got that came through and then,
It's a couple hours long. You gotta watch it. It's just-
yeah, I wish I got the high points from you though.
Yeah, that's long. There's other ones that are better, okay, but
Oh, really?
And then my
but you know, you're not gonna write 2 pages, you know?
No, but I think you put it out there, we need to put it on.
It should be in the paper tomorrow morning. I would think.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like on our website,
Yeah.
that's not our private one, it's a
Right,
public one.
yes, yes.
So people have a chance to look at it too or whatever. And I really think it should be posted directly on somebody's Facebook page too.
I did post it on there. But they couldn't find it because the way Sue Rose has got that set up.
Yeah, we should want people like to
Yeah,
take it from ours and put it on one, because it's our private one.
Well, the town, not saying Mchenry Township.
No, the Boston's one.
Yeah, right.
She didn't want anyone to take that out of context and put it onto something else, that's why it's not shared.
Yeah, I understand yours, but I'm talking about the same Mchenry Township one. I posted on there today, and I kept sending people there to look for it, and they couldn't find it.
Yeah, I
Because you had to click on community.
Hi, Susan.
Yeah, and I told Sue, you gotta do something about it. Since you're speaking to Sue, right there.
Yeah, I saw her walking, I should have said so, I'm sorry.
I wasn't talking bad about Sue. I talked bad about it.
It'll be a year next one. I'll tell you what, I haven't laughed as much in 10 years as I have the last year.
He was just, he was a little head like, what, am I doing something wrong?
What he does, he crawls under the covers, and then he comes down, and he's out of sight. And then I gotta watch the little sheets. I got brand new sheets that are, the whole corner's all. So now I watch him when he gets under there, because he doesn't think you're real quiet. And he's quiet. He's doing
Dorlet,
something.
D-O-R-L-E.
But he's
What kind is it?
he's a border collie and terrier.
Oh,
I'll show you. I just happen to have a picture.
well, you wouldn't
Hey,
be
Terry,
a
thanks for your
secret
help.
daddy if you didn't have a picture of him.
I'll talk to my car and get him in the morning.
Oh,
Give him-
he's
I'll
cute.
give him
What's
that.
his name?
I just can't breathe in
My
this
last
cold.
dog,
I
my
can't.
daughter
I
comes
can't.
in, I said, come on puppy, come on.
I have COPD with this, it's cold.
She was near the puppy. So I gave her my name on puppy.
Would it be okay if I went out
Don't get
and
it,
I know
no.
I'll find him
You're right in the back of the car.
and in the back?
He's a mid-sized dog.
Yeah.
He's not real big or not real small.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
he?
In the back seat?
They bring a lot of joy to you, don't they? They do.
Now I know who you are.
Now that we know.
Nothing clicked. And one day I was up Friday, I left here, and I was here at 11:00 to get the dog off. And I was just about to pull my driveway. And I went to I went in, he was just the door open.
Yeah.
I went in, he was the first dog I ever. I left the
Winter time. What do you expect, right? Exactly.
Tell me about the other dog.
If you didn't like me, go down south. Yeah. Right.
I like this dog.
And that's how he got it.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Hey Jim. Oh, I gotta show you something.
What would you like to do?
Huh? That? Oh, that's right. I don't know, some Craig put his stuff here, so I put you over there. Look this next door. Do you have this app?
The other night I had a real hard time.
I do. I haven't used it.
Oh, you should. You can start your car from another state.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
I use it with that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does it give you diagnostics?
Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, I come in, I can't breathe.
Oh, that's nice. So you could open it up too.
Yeah. You can lock the door, unlock the door. You can beat the horn. All of this stuff. There's your diagnostic.
You can find a dealer if you got a problem.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
It is, it's cool. It's free.
Oh, let's check that out.
Go down. No, they're bringing stuff in, I can't carry it, I can't. So I'm not carrying it. There's contact with the computer yet, that's right.
I forgot my shirt, I forgot my shirt. I need a reminder. I have it on my shoulder.
We went downtown.
This is what they wrote.
Remember, you went down, you took us out.
Yeah. Right, I remember that, I don't remember that. But Jamie was there, she gave us. She should have.
You could,
Those cost extra, right? Oh, it's all right.
well, no, township fee.
Well, how are you feeling?
No,
Our house is 70.
only took me like 25 years to figure it out.
As long as you get it right, that's all it counts.
I hope so. Nothing. I got an email from them, they gave me some numbers, but no, I still not everything I want.
Yeah.
It's like, there's feedback.
As a captive insurance carrier, they're under a lot of regulations that don't seem to make any sense for what they've done. They know that.
That's what, the guys are superimposing on each other, and one is, there's like this raspberry. One of them questions getting used to it, I can't see through it. Unless it's in right, it's okay. But if it's dim, it's like, it's spongy. It is covered. Well, it doesn't matter, it comes, you know, put it covered, it's still there. It's still there,
You had a question. I hope I don't have to use it. Who knows, right?
For now, that's good for now.
No. Oh, okay, that's fine. Just gonna move it back. No, it's fine. I've never, thank
When I asked me the other day if I wanted to go, I said, go. I can't be long. I can't be long with you. Thank you.
Stan, your scarf is looking awesome. That's why I called it the scarf.
How you doing, Mike? Good, how are you? Good. Going away now.
No after effects. That's what
More than you could have. Two cuts of good.
down. Who rise for pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first we have public comment, and we're limited to 3 minutes. Also, I just want to say, we're going to keep this meeting orderly, and everybody's going to respect everybody. If the audience, if you speak out after your turn, while the board is having a meeting here, you're going to get one warning, and I'm going to ask you to leave after that, okay? So, not that you will. All right, John McCredo first.
John Mchenry, Illinois. I don't know how many folks out here are aware that there's a meeting in the county this morning, in the county board actually. And the main topic of discussion was how are they going to handle the elimination of the township. And when you have the time, go to the county's website, go to the media portal, and make sure you look up today's meeting. I'll give you a couple of the highlights that really stood out in my mind. Peter Austin, he's the county administrator. He urged people to vote no on elimination because there's no information out there and it's complete garbage. So here's the county administrator telling everybody to vote no on elimination. Second, Chuck Wheeler, he actually might show up later tonight. He recommended, he went to the state of the roads, or the condition of the roads in our county. He made a point to tell everybody that the township roads are by far better than the county's roads, better than the state's roads. And at one point he suggested that maybe we should look at letting the township take over the county roads that are within the district, within the township's district. Then Kay Bates spoke. She's one of our other district county board members. She asked the question, she brought up cost. She asked if the county takes over the township drivers, if you will, are they going to have to pay the drivers more money because their drivers are union? And in fact, in the discussion, it came out that yes, they would have to pay the drivers more money, and in turn, it would cost the township residents more money to do the same job we're doing now. And it's just, I found it amazing. So please, if you have the time, go to the county board's website, the media portal, and look up this morning's meeting. The other thing I had time left here. I attended both budget meetings so far, and I don't know how many of you here are aware that they took the bus out of the budget again. The other thing they took out of the budget was the mosquito abatement. So we talked to me, took $170,000 roughly out of the budget, and I'm sure they're going to feel that they're doing the right thing. And as we know, they're not going to change their mind. But the irony of that, if they spent $40,000 to do a study, it's not going to measure the services, just dollars. That's all I have. Thank you.
Next on the list, I have Jamie Rouse.
Thank you.
I will get that right for the rest of my life.
I'm going to change my name then. Jamie Rouse, Mchenry. Hello, Mchenry Township. There has been some misinformation circulated recently in regard to taxation in the township. When you look at your property tax bill, the township and road district combined account for 3.7% of your total tax bill. So for every $1,000 in taxes you pay, the township shares $37. If you vote to dissolve the township, you save 10% on that part of your taxes only. 10% of $37. And that is only for the first year. Maybe you think saving $3.70 is worth it because saving taxes anywhere is savings. Don't forget that your tax savings will eliminate programs like senior services, township parks, cost-effective road maintenance. In fact, so many services, I can't hope to mention them all here in 3 minutes. So I point you to the township website, www.mchenrytownship.com, to see the complete list. Speaking of the township website, did you know the assessor's office has a document posted there called A Taxpayer's Guide to Property Tax Relief? Now, I know some people are truly burdened by their property taxes, but are you taking advantage of the homestead exemptions? How about the senior citizen assessment freeze or the senior citizen tax deferral program? Returning veterans exemption, disabled persons exemption? Did you know these even exist? The township can help you apply and see if you account for any of these programs. Or maybe you just need some general assistance to help pay some bills. The township helps with that too. Life is choices. I chose my house because I looked at what the property taxes were and weighed my options, my pros and cons. I understand that some people have seen their taxes increase after they bought their homes. That could be viewed as a positive as property values rise because people see the value of the neighborhood that you live in. It is your decision to stay in a desirable area or, if you hate the taxes, to move. Very few people are taxed out of their homes as claimed by some. It is also your choice if you want to be part of a true community. I feel like we may be becoming a me-first society. I will decide how to spend my money. I don't need a food pantry, so why should one operate out of a township building so they can serve more people? I have 3 kids that will drive me around and will never tell me they hate the inconvenience, so why should I fund a bus service that gives others the mobility that they so desperately need? If you can, why would you not choose to lift up those less fortunate than yourself? Please help us save Mchenry Township by voting no on March 17th. Oh, I almost forgot, township trustees. If you are not interested in preserving the township and serving this community, I hope that you will do the right thing and resign. Thank you.
John Sharp.
My name is John. I live in Mchenry. The senior and disabled bus service was started for Mchenry Township over 20 years ago. It was started by a vote of the township electors. The electors decided that this service was something that the township needed. It was not forced upon them by the Board of Trustees. It has helped so many people all over the township. It is not a duplicate service. The reason PACE partners with municipalities for this program is because they know they cannot deliver this level of service. Ride shares are not the same either. Volunteers are unreliable. Over the past 20 years, the population of Mchenry Township has continued to get older. The bus service is needed now more than ever. It should be advertised and expanded. Instead, this Board of Trustees has been trying to eliminate it. Against the will of the electors, mind you. Why should they have the authority to end a service that the electors voted to start? Shouldn't the electors decide what services the township provides? Now, there's going to be a question on the ballot on March 17th to see if the township residents want the bus service or not. This is how it should have been done. But the trustees, in all their wisdom, have already said that they don't have to follow what the decision is and have already eliminated the funding for the bus service from next year's budget. Zeroed out. Nothing as such. We, the electors, need to remind the trustees what their elected positions really are. Auditors of our township. Our services, our choices. If you can, please come to the next budget meeting on February 24th and remind them about that. And definitely vote yes on March 17th to keep the bus service. Thank you.
I'll do that to the clerk. Sir?
Shut up.
I was going to ask you to give it to the clerk. I'm sorry. I could have done it. Okay, next I have Terry Capel.
Good evening, and good evening to all the citizens who showed up on a freezing night.
Could you just repeat your name and your town?
My name is Terry Capel. I'm from Mchenry.
Okay, thank you.
I came here today. I early voted at the courthouse. As everybody knows, there's two referendums pertinent to the township on the ballot this year. One is whether we should dissolve the township, which has been a movement by trustees for a while. I voted no, of course, and because I want local control of our government. The other one is the bus service, and it's an advisory referendum, but the people get to choose to express their will. Elected officials are supposed to be public servants. I ask that each of you take a pledge to abide by the will of the people and serve them. Thank you.
Next I have Robert Beltran.
Good evening. My name is Robert Beltran. I live in Mchenry Township. I've been up here before speaking in favor of maintaining the bus service. In the past, I've said, you know, I'm not disabled. I don't really need the bus service, but I want it there for the time when I might. And 10 days ago, I had no disabilities. And then in literally the blink of an eye, no pun intended, I took a header in the bathroom, hit my head on the corner of a bathtub, and I may never see my left eye again. Now, I still have a driver's license. I haven't turned it in. But you don't want me out there driving. You don't want to come from my left side, because I'm not going to see you. So it's a public safety reason to have people like me have a bus service like this available to us. It might save the life of anyone in this room, including members of the board here. So all I'm trying to say is that that $8 a year that we're paying or have been paying for bus service is like an insurance policy. I've been paying $8 a year when the time comes, I would have that bus available to me. And I'm one of those people who can't count on children. My only child is disabled and unable to drive. My wife spent yesterday, in Chicago, Northwestern Hospital, to see whether she's on the road to disability herself. So this is something that we need. We might have two people out there in the county away from town, not able to get anywhere, with no relatives to transport them. And don't tell me to use my faith community, because I'm an agnostic. We don't have a faith community. And I'm certainly not going to prostitute my personal beliefs just to take advantage of other people. So, thank you.
Next I have Linda Toller.
Wonder Lake. Good evening, gentlemen. Although some of you aren't proving to be deserving of that title. I'll get right to the point this time. I find your comparison of being homeless a temporary problem, with being disabled or elderly, usually not temporary, especially when it comes to age, to be faulty at best, flat out insulting at worst. And I have to question how many of these taxed out of their home people are also elderly or disabled, and you are in effect just compounding their problems. As far as this ridiculous war against the township being led by our very own Don Quixote, enough is enough. The way I see it, our township is like a car. You can chop off pieces to better the mileage. We don't need 4 doors, a front and rear windshield, shocks, anti-lock brakes, a radio, air conditioning, heat, all redundant systems that cost us money and mileage. But I sure enjoy them and all the comforts and services they provide, and I don't even mind paying for them. Stop this war on the township. Stop this war on the disabled. Stop this war on the elderly. Just stop. And to the actual gentleman up there, doing what you can to try and do what your job entails, thank you. Please never stop fighting.
Mike Toller.
Mike Toller, north 42 degrees by 22 minutes, 42 seconds, west negative 88 degrees by 20 minutes, 40 seconds. I say that simply because I saw, once again, during the budget hearings that Mr. Veer had wanted specifics on where people live. So, I see we have this sanctuary item on the list, even though, as I pointed out at the meeting, at the second public comment in the meeting, that it's absolutely pointless. So let me reinforce that point. Under what situation would this sanctuary be activated? When would the states or the feds come to the township for assistance that would require you to have this resolution? And Mr. Veer, I know you're going to try and make this some sort of liberal versus conservative thing. Before you go turning that around, let me remind you that I am a card-carrying member of the Firearms Policy Coalition. And let me also point out that there's a quote from Marx, since you have pointed to Marx and Marxism so often. Under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force, if necessary. Here's a quote from Donald Trump, though, very recently. I like taking guns away early. Take the guns first, go through due process second. I think you might be more Marxist than you know. Thank you.
I'll make one call. Is there anybody else that wanted to sign up yet for public comment? Okay, none being heard, we'll move on. We have two sets of minutes to approve, gentlemen, in our packet. First is December 20th. Oh, I noticed on they're not numbered. The fourth page. It was an unknown subject. There's the last sentence.
Greg, they'd like you to use your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I noticed in the minutes, oops.
Time's up.
Time's up. Last, on the fourth page, unknown subject, the last sentence, there's a mark in there that shouldn't be there. It should say, and what kind of survey are they going to do that? There's a little typo there.
Yep.
Will be removed.
Are you going to make a motion to accept the minutes for the?
I'll be happy to make a motion to accept the minutes with that change. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Anderson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? None heard? Okay. We'll go on to the next set of minutes, which was January 9th, our last regular board meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Yes.
Mr. Veer is opposed. Okay.
Once again, it's false. A false set of minutes have been presented.
Okay, so we have 3 A's and 1 nay. Minutes passed. We don't need to do any executive session minutes. I'm sorry. 4 A's. 4 A's, 1 nay. Motion for approval of the receipts and bills for the town fund.
I have that. With the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees certify that we have this 13th day of February 2020 examined and audited amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payment of same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $24,137.36. Total bills paid prior to audit, $38,778. Total be approved, $62,915.36. I move to accept the receipts and pay the bills.
Okay.
Town fund.
I have a motion by Mr. Anderson to accept the receipts and pay the bills of the town fund. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rakestraw. Over roll call vote, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw. Yes. Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Vera.
No.
He votes no. Mr. Wojcicki.
Yes.
Okay. So again, we have 4 yeses and 1 no. All right. We'll move on to the bills for the General Road and Bridge Fund.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have, on this 13th day of February 2020, examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and thereby authorize payment for the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $112,408.33. Total bills paid prior to audit, $23,466.30. Total to be approved, $135,874.63. Total receipts, $15,278.34. I move that we approve the bills.
This discussion, I have some questions.
We haven't had a second yet, so there'll be no discussion.
To accept the receipts and pay the bills for the general road and bridge.
I'll be happy to second that motion. Now, Mr. Ver.
All right, we can start with the Mchenry Township Highway Commission bill. Maybe Mr. Condon could explain it. It doesn't even say what the term is. And since we're in the middle of the budgetary process, it says it represents the 16 road districts. So who does it represent the road districts to, Mr. Condon?
The Mchenry Township Highway Commissioners Association is an organization that gathers every other month. We do various things. We stay current on existing legislation. We share information about funding programs, new procedures for pavement management, issues with MFT, the list goes on. Vendors regularly stop by and present their products at our meetings, and that's what it is.
All right, well, that bill, I would say should go out until they put a proper time frame on it, what the annual dues is for, how long it's for. When
It's for 1 year.
It doesn't say that on the bill.
January to December.
It doesn't say that.
Well, I guess I'm telling you that's what the bill is. It's from January to December.
Okay, well, this extraneous information is nice, but it's an improper bill for dues. Okay, totally improper. It should have a time frame on it. I don't think it's too much trouble to get that.
Well, I think you're exaggerating the issue here, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't pay it. It's an annual bill. It's the same annual bill that we've received for the last probably 20 years. So if all of a sudden it's an issue, that would be personally, I believe, your issue. And if you want to make a deal out of it, don't vote for it then.
No, it's not that. It's an improper
that's exactly
bill.
what it
It's
is.
an improper bill to be presented in the first place. It does not have any time frame on it.
It has January 2020 on it.
That's the date that it came out. It doesn't say what the dues is for. It seems that it's a political organization.
Professional. It's already actually included in the budget from last year, so I see no reason why you wouldn't approve it.
Because we're talking about the new year budget, that's why.
No, we're talking about this year's budget, though, aren't we? This fiscal year's budget, it's included in this fiscal year's budget. If you want to play silly games with your silly demands of...
I think the taxpayers have a right to know what the timeframes are, okay?
I think pretty much every taxpayer here knows.
The compromise should be for the 3 months till the end of March.
I think every taxpayer here knows exactly what the date is. I'd recommend it be approved. If you choose not to, I suppose that would be your problem.
At the point of order, I think the attorney can say that it isn't the proper bill, the way that it's been constituted and presented.
I think the attorney would then say that it wasn't proper for the last 20 years. Is that what you're saying?
That is irrelevant. If mistakes are made by prior boards, okay. We can't go back in time and change that. But going forward, we can.
About a year and a half.
I think it's pretty clear that it's the annual dues for the year 2020.
Well, it doesn't say that.
That the January 2020.
I'm talking about the time frames of how it ends. Now, since all these are township road districts, and the annual year for all the townships are the same,
However you feel
April 1st to March 31st.
However you feel necessary to waste time, go ahead. You know the answer to the bill. Choose to do what you want to do.
Just tell them to send you a bill that has the time frame on it.
And I told you exactly what that bill and that time frame we're going to say.
No, look.
Gentlemen, may I interject? It was approved last year in the budget that you.
So what?
It's so, I'm just saying, we've got a first and a second, can we take a vote?
Hey, Steve, what we can do is take a look at that when we're presenting from the road district's budget and take it out or make a discussion at that time. But this was approved with the last budget, and I think that's what we're asking.
No, the bill was never approved.
Yes, sir.
There was a certain amount that was put in for dues and subscription, okay? This bill was never approved.
The bill wasn't, but when we went through the budget, it was.
But the money was approved the last budget for the bill, though, Steve. I think it's an issue that we should look at though when we get the new budget for the next cycle.
I would consider that fair.
No, I would consider it fair to pay it out, give them a quarter of the amount, the $25 till the end of the fiscal year. They really shouldn't be operating on these annual dues that bleed into the next fiscal year. It's improper.
Okay.
All of these townships, road districts are governed by the same time frame.
$100. So we just wasted 20 minutes or 10 minutes on a bill that's $100. Jim, how much do you charge us an hour? Crying out loud. This is ridiculous. Use your head.
Calm down, brother. I don't want anything like that. Okay, I'm calling for a roll call vote on this bill, on the whole thing that we just went through.
I think Mr. Condon's comments are out of order there, because I don't think you should be upsetting or get this audience involved in this discussion.
Okay, that's your opinion. He did discuss it. The issue's been discussed, so let's take a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Beer?
No.
And Mr. Wojcicki?
We're voting on the town fund?
Then we're voting on the general road bridge fund.
I vote yes.
Okay, thank you.
We aren't voting on the fund, we're voting on this particular bill.
No, we voted on the whole fund.
Well, I have questions about other bills.
Well, it's already been voted on. You didn't bring them up, so.
You didn't give me a chance.
Well,
Point of order, will the attorney please direct the supervisor, that was a vote on a single bill?
No, it wasn't.
The initial motion was for the road and bridge fund. There was a second on it. There was discussion. There may have been confusion as far as additional comments regarding taking that vote prior to listening to the remaining portions of that bill. If the board would want to consider what those additional comments are, you certainly can, but you've already voted on the motion.
no problem if to go back, if he's got other questions on it, if he got overlooked, I have no problem going back and having him bring it up.
I have no problem as well.
You can bring your question up and it can be answered, I guess, but we've already voted on it, so go ahead.
Well, then we'll have a vote then to do it.
We're working on accepting this whole.
There's all kinds of other bills that are
He
wrong.
didn't state that that was the only thing he was objecting to. He just brought up one thing and then.
Well, he didn't speak up and I called for a roll call vote. That's the way it works. So nobody said anything, so.
That's a motion for reconsideration.
I would make the.
You can't make a motion for reconsideration, Steve. You voted no.
Yeah, but other people can.
I can, and I will do so.
I'll second. Okay, I want to hear what he's got to say.
Motion for reconsideration, the first and a second. Let's have a roll call vote.
Yes?
Rick Scruggs, yes. I vote no. Mr. Wojcicki?
No.
No. Motion fails.
I believe I get a chance to vote.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bear. I know your vote. I guess I don't know. What is your vote?
Yep. I vote that the motion for reconsideration be granted and approved. Yes.
So it would be 3-2 for reconsideration.
Right.
Now let's go to the HR Green bill.
Hold on. Where are we?
You're back to reconsideration of the road bridge.
Oh, okay, fine.
That's for $7,000 for engineering.
Just a quick point of order. Clerk, did you get the roll call vote?
Got it.
Yes?
Right. None of those bills for engineering say where anything was done on the bill.
It does, it said Orchard Beach.
All right, let's see.
It was a non-dedicated road as part of our NSR program with the county.
The NSR.
Non-dedicated subdivision road program.
Now, this is for engineering, right?
Engineering and surveying.
Well, the survey isn't on there.
Their overall bill, they don't specify whether their senior technician is part of the field crew for the survey crew or part of the office staff. Same thing for their junior professional or the professional. So how you would know whether they're engineers or surveyors from this, I think you're mistaken.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We get a blanket bill.
We have a blanket bill. We have a contract with them to do both engineering and surveying. They're within that budget of that contract, and that's why we approved it.
When you say we approved it, you mean you approved it?
I did approve it for payment.
The Crest Hill Association for the Mchenry excavation bill, the asphalt grinding, that $1,200, could you explain what that is? Please.
Crest Hill Association?
The Mchenry excavation bill for the Crest Hill Association.
It is.
$1,200, it says asphalt grinding.
Crest Hill. That is a non-dedicated subdivision road. It's located just outside Lakemore. We're allowed to utilize general road and bridge funds for them. It's a road that's very potholed in very poor shape. They paid a contractor to come in and spread and compact grindings on their road, which they're allowed to use, and they bill it through us, and we pay it with general road and bridge funds that we're allowed to supply to them.
So the Crest Hill Association is not paying anything?
They are using funds. I'm not sure exactly if they're paying anything in addition to that or not. I don't recall, but I know they're using the portion that we paid. Portion that we paid was part of what we set aside for them for general road and bridge funds.
Jim, is this This company you were just, can you use the microphone, thank you. This company that you were just mentioning, they grind up,
It's on.
they grind up the existing road and then spread it out?
No, they utilized grindings that we have, spare grindings that we have, and they spread those grindings and compacted them.
Do they mix something with it to?
No, they routinely, in roads that are pretty, it's similar to putting down a gravel road, except for if you put down grindings, after you compact them, if the weather gets warm, a lot of times that asphalt will melt, call it melting or liquefy, and reattach to other parts and hold it together better. It's one of the reasons why we use it for shoulders now, as opposed to gravel.
Thank you.
So how is this association given this money and other ones aren't? What determines?
Why they can use this funds? Actually, at the beginning of the year, or during our budget process, we look at how much each association pays of each house in that association or property in that association. We calculate how much they pay in road and bridge, general road and bridge funds. Then we take half of what that accumulated amount is and allow them to use up to use that 50% for any improvements that they want, in an effort to upgrade the road so that it can eventually be taken over by the road district.
The Omni bill for the lighting service, I don't understand that particular bill. There's a bill for $2,415, but that's not being paid for some reason. And then there's a side bill for $165 that is being paid.
It's two different bills. On one, they put it on one statement. The 165 is the road and bridge, and the 2250 is the town. And they're both marked.
But it's a blank labor and
No, it's not.
materials bill.
No.
It says materials and labor $22.50, but nothing is broken down as far as how much labor is involved or what the materials cost.
I believe those were bid originally, so that's.
Correct. This was a bid for the LED lighting. They were replacing 3 garage fixtures as per quote.
Right, and the bid was never presented to the board, right?
That I don't know. I think it was that part of the LED changeover? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Well,
Because we changed over the town, the rec center.
you can imagine my questions on it. It's just a blank. I didn't realize. Yeah,
I'm sure we had a bid which we can produce, and then that matched the bid.
well, then it should say as per bid, and that would have,
As per quote, right on it.
well, quote isn't the same thing as.
Well,
It wasn't a bid, it was a quote. It's under the bid
issue
amount.
becomes
It's
whether
under
or not
$20,000.
this is a bill that was legally incurred, and if this is the correct amount. That's the question. So if that's true, the question is this a legal bill that has been legally incurred and that it's an obligation? And if there's funds that are been appropriated for it, then it would be incumbent upon the board to approve it. As far as the town board's obligations is to verify and ensure that the bills are legally incurred, and then number 2, to make sure there's appropriation. Absent those two, then there should be approval of the bills.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of how this was allocated out.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. I now realize, you can't tell that from this bill.
Understood.
That there wasn't, that there's a prior mechanism of a bid that went in and approved, and it's all spelled out there. We just get this.
So from now on, I can have them attach the quote.
Or make a reference to it, right? What it was. There had to be a number on it, right, from the township?
Right here, it should have the quote on the amount.
Correct.
That's easy enough to do.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure we're paying what we have.
So what Steve's doing is just checking to see whether or not it was legally incurred, and he's just verifying as to whether it was to the code.
Gotcha.
As you can see, the highway commissioner's already looked at it, and the highway
Right,
commissioner's already.
each department had to sign off on it.
Okay.
But I can have them add the quote to it, so they can have additional backup.
That would be great.
Another matter is this 575 to Dale Schultz for plowing. Is that for plowing?
Yeah, we actually contract out some of our subdivisions for private contractors. It's one of the non-dedicated, the NSR subdivisions that have been brought into the township. She has plowed it in the past, and the residents have been very satisfied with her, and we're glad to have her continue to do it for the time being.
And the obvious then question is, why can't the township do it?
Because we had the staff, until this year, this was a county road, and the county paid us to maintain it, and we retained her to plow it. Halfway through the budget year, the county and the township came into an agreement to turn those roads over to the township road district, and so the highway commissioner of the township road district decided to continue that through this year. In the future, we'll consider possibly plowing it ourselves. We don't know yet. Something new, something different.
Is it cheaper than it would cost the township to do it on its own, with its own personnel and staff?
I don't believe so. Probably about, I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. We haven't had to do it before. It was a judgment call right now. We could have bought another snowplow and went and did it, or we could have maintained the service that has been done previously that the residents were satisfied with.
The next matter is the $50 a month for Facebook advertising on Think Big Bill.
I think it's important that we continue to communicate with our residents, especially given the fact that you've decided to eliminate the newsletter. Many things get posted on there, down trees, road construction, weather conditions, things like that on a regular basis.
And where does that come in the budget?
I would have to go back and look at it. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Consulting.
And the final question I have is the prime law bill, where it's got marked on it, certain parts of it, maybe that we could hand it to the attorney. It just says split, so I'm trying to figure out, is that split with the town?
Yeah.
That's
Or
what-
split with Nunda Township?
No.
No, split with the town.
This split was with the town, I believe.
It wasn't related to the lawsuit.
One of our attorneys who was working on the file with me on it, she put her time down to the highway commissioners instead of the town. And Jim pointed that out and
Indication we have two splits. Town fund, GRB.
advised us of that. Thank you.
The problem are these notations, that I can't.
Right, but if you take these half and this half, that adds up to that, and the balance goes to the town.
Oh, the question came up because there wasn't a prime bill for the town. For the other half, it was just.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
There was?
It's in the packet.
Thank you, Mr. Conlon.
All right, so now let's go back. We have to re-vote on the receipts and bills for the general road and bridge fund. I make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Rainstro. Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Good.
Yes.
Mr. Wojcicki.
Yes.
Okay, all yeses. Motion passes. Motion for approval of receipts and bills for the permanent hard road fund.
Permanent hard road fund, total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $36,353.88. Total bills paid prior to audit, $14,414.68. Bills to be approved, $50,768.56. And total receipts, $112,886.69. I will make a motion to accept the receipts and pay the bills.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the receipts and pay the bills from Mr. Wojcicki. I'll be happy to second that motion. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to, Stan did not read the first paragraph. Does that make a difference in this?
No, it does not. He's reading the bills.
Mike, can you use your,
I can't hear that.
Yeah, I just asked that if he didn't read the first paragraph, does that change the?
I've never read the first paragraph, and I don't think it makes a difference.
As long as he gets the numbers into the motion and you identify the fund in which that is taking place.
Which we did, so. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Wakeström?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, all yeses, motion passed. Fund transfers none at this time. The first matter of new business is the discussion and adoption of a resolution that the township border is a sanctuary for gun owners, discussion and possible action. We have the resolution in front of you.
Well, we have to have a motion first to get this.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I'll make the motion and
Okay.
discuss the resolution.
All right, do we have a second?
I have a second.
Okay. I'm going to have some discussion on this. I'm not against the resolution, but what I am against is Mchenry Township has no policing law enforcement policies or powers. While I believe this should be done, it should be done at the county level. Because if we pass this, we have no agreements with the sheriff's department to just do this within the township areas. It has no teeth, is what I'm trying to say, gentlemen. I think maybe the thing to do would be referred to the county. I know, actually, right now, Mr. Wheeler is here, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask him a question.
Let me get my call.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Wheeler is one of our county board members from this district.
Yes.
The question I want to ask you, you are working on a gun sanctuary law, are you, for the county?
Yes,
Or trying to?
Right. An advisory referendum
Okay.
that will be effective for the county, that
Right.
will express the sentiments of the county as it relates to gun laws that are passed by the legislature. It is not a pro or negative. Anybody can sign the petition, anyone can vote, because you vote when you at the referendum.
Okay.
So whatever your position is.
So that's my comments. I would just refer it to the county because they have the law enforcement. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask?
You may.
Mr. Wheeler some question. How many counties have adopted the sanctuary in Illinois, just approximately?
I think
It's fair
about
to say the
50,
majority.
60 or so out of 89 counties, almost the majority of the counties have done it. So it's not something that is out in left field. It's something that is very mainstream, and it's something that you, as the township, can also strengthen the efforts of this and basically do both things.
Right, and I point out to the chairman that a number of townships have already done this because of the inaction in their particular counties.
Okay.
And how long has this been going on where the county board has not even had the chance to vote on it?
It's been over 8 months that we had meetings, hearings, talks, and
It just never got on the agenda. I'm not gonna go any further than that.
No, what you're talking about is a referendum to go on a ballot next November.
Right, exactly. So we decided to do it the other way, going to the people.
Because you've been frustrated with the county.
Exactly.
Okay, and it's precisely why O'Fallon Township, St. Clair Township, and St. Clair County voted for either an exact or very similar resolution. And up here in Will County, Plainfield Township has already done it. So this will be a signal to the county of at least one township's prerogative on the issue.
Okay, any further discussion, gentlemen?
According to my research, I'm not talking about townships now, but according to my research, it says 26 of 102 Illinois counties have passed gun sanctuary laws, and most of those are downstate. These are people that hunt, fish.
That is out of date. It is far more than 26. We're into the 70s.
I'm not talking about townships, I'm talking about counties.
Yeah, so am I. Is that your understanding, Mr. Wheeler?
Exactly.
So maybe that was in an early phase of it. Many counties have adopted it since. The only reason the township is doing so now is because the county won't let the thing come to a vote. Correct?
Correct.
So this is a way the townships have when the counties don't take any action. And we'll join a list of other townships that have already done it.
Okay, any further discussion?
Do you know how many other townships have actually, any number of townships?
3 have that I'm positive of. I know it's up for discussion beginning in January. Whether more have done it, I can't say. But the 3 that I identified have done it. And with so many counties adopting it, there's no need for the townships within those counties to adopt it. It's only when things get stymied at the county level where the townships can take action. So we're doing that right here and now. And we're making a statement to the county and the county board and the president of the county board to let this thing come up for a vote.
The county board as a whole is the county board as a whole does want this brought up, would you guess?
The committee wanted it brought to the board. The chairman went to the chairman of the board, our committee chairman went to the chairman of the board, and he did not put it on the agenda.
Okay, so if we were to pass this today, it wouldn't detract from your effort to get it?
No. We're doing it this way regardless, but if the county does it, that's fine. But this is a way that we can let the people know about the actual referendum. And we can't assume that the county is going to do it, but we would appreciate any support that we could get from our township.
Well, I think this would be a great way to show our support.
And that referendum would be just advisory, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
What kind of support on the committee? How many members on the committee?
There are, I believe, 7, and there was a majority.
Majority vote.
Majority. We didn't vote, but
a majority.
Yes.
Not a vote, but a majority.
A consensus.
Consensus was they support this.
In light of what's going on in other states like Virginia with its absurd House Bill 961 that was passed a few days ago, I think it's incumbent on the township to show some spine here so that the people in Springfield know we're not going to be plowed under.
Okay, Steve, can you explain 961? I don't know what it is.
That was a bill that passed the Virginia House of Delegates, banning certain types of hitherto completely legal firearms. Okay? And I think that there are a number of bills floating around trying to get signatures in Springfield to do the exact same thing here. This is a message. You can call it symbolic if you want, but yeah, Everybody talks about townships. Okay, well, here's an example of townships. And the reason why we're doing it is the inaction of the county. Just the same situation Plainfield Township faced in Will County. And St. Clair and O'Fallon Townships faced in St. Clair County, downstate.
Okay, we have had a first and a second, have we not?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so are we ready to take a vote then?
No.
Point of order was just for discussion.
Oh, we're still in discussion, okay.
I really don't have a big problem with this thing, except I have a problem on page 2 with number 4.
Yeah, I do too.
The Mchenry Township Board opposes gun control or gun safety legislation, state, federal, or local. I mean, we already have laws on the books. You have to have a FOID card to own a gun. Felons can't own a gun. So, I mean, there already are gun control issues here. And I could support this bill if we scratch out number 4. Otherwise, I can't.
Well, number 4 applies to future legislation, obviously, not anything that exists now. Everything is always with the euphemism out of Springfield, okay? They can call it whatever they want, gun safety, citizen protection, whatever.
Taxation.
That's not what it is.
Mr. Greer, can I make a suggestion? That on number 4 there, we just put the Mchenry Township Board opposes future gun control or gun safety legislation.
Would you be willing to accept that?
I would accept it.
How about any future?
Yeah, but we can add the word any future. So it would read, the Mchenry Township Board opposes any future gun control or gun safety legislation, state, federal, or local.
That would be fine with me.
That's fine with Mr. Rivers, that's fine with the rest of the board here?
Okay, can I, like,
Sure.
who made this document up?
I did.
Maybe we should add another thing to 2. Point 2, the resolution on the second page. Olympic and Paralympic sports.
Oh, okay.
Although the upcoming Olympics may be canceled in Tokyo.
Yes.
If I might.
You may.
I was just also wanting to, I was just saying to the people, there is legislation in there or coming up that will tax ammunition, that will limit the amount of rounds that can be put in one particular chamber. There are a number of ways that they're trying to skin this cat.
Okay, thank you.
So what you're saying then is by pretty much having 4 remain in there, it is a protection for us.
Yes, or you could be more explicit and just say as well as taxation of guns and this
And ammunition.
and ammunition and this expanded FOID law that they're talking about that will reduce the license from the current period to half of the period and double the fee on an unconstitutional law.
What would happen if we put a date-sensitive portion? What would happen if we used a date-sensitive thing in this, at number 4, so that anything that happened after this specific date would not be pertaining to this? Would that work?
That's your body.
Could I get
I believe that number 4 is not about taxes or taxing. It's about gun control. Taxing is a different issue.
That's
right?
Exactly.
That's another different issue.
That should be another line item.
That's another bullet point which I'm trying to recommend.
But that taxing thing doesn't apply to this any future legislation. I mean, It doesn't say monetary legislation.
I just want, are you talking about legislation going on regarding taxation, adding in taxation? If it's legislation regarding taxation, we could add language on the floor that reads something like this. The Mchenry Township Board opposes any future gun control, gun safety, or related gun taxation legislation, state, federal, or local.
By date, could we add it?
Well, the date's on this.
It's any future.
Once it's
It's
assigned.
any future, and we got a date on
You got it
it.
right here, right?
Okay.
You got a date.
This, I'm just trying to cover all our bases now, rather than have to come back.
Okay. So Jim, can you please read for so everyone knows what the change is now? Number 4 would be the Mchenry Township Board opposes any future gun control, gun safety, or related gun taxation legislation, state, federal, or local.
In the future.
Yeah,
And we got
any future. Yeah.
any future.
Any future.
In the future.
Okay.
Gun control. Supervisor Adams, may I be recognized? This
No.
is, he may be recognized.
Well, he's a county board member that has issues on this.
He was recognized by the supervisor.
What, do you want to be recognized to talk on this?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
I
can recognize him.
Why would the public be
I
involved?
can, he has an opinion, I can
But
recognize.
that could be a
Then you can
public
express
comment.
it in the
That could
public
be a
comment
public
section.
comment.
I have been recognized, thank you.
He doesn't
Point
have-
of
I
order.
recognize him.
That doesn't matter. We'll have a vote on it then. A vote to allow the public to comment at this point, when it was on the agenda previously, and nobody talked about it.
What's wrong with listening to his opinion?
Yeah, well, we're not gonna,
It's not gonna change anything.
This is not the public comment
Okay.
decision.
The supervisor gave him the floor. If the board wishes to move on, then the board can vote to move on.
motion to move on without any further public comment at this stage. There's another section at the end where anybody can say what they want.
Okay. Everybody,
At the end, the legislation's over, so
Okay.
why his opinion now?
This was on the agenda, posted, everybody could talk about it at the start. Okay?
Mr. Ver does have a
But
point.
new items have been brought up, and I have been recognized.
There's no
So
new
I'm
items
calling the
brought up.
question.
I believe the attorney said the board has the right to overrule.
Okay, the board
I'm
does.
calling the question.
It was recognized as.
So I guess he's asking for you to call the question. Is he going to be recognized? So, Mr. Anderson?
Why is he
This is vote the question, vote on the
No, the
question.
only way to
What's coming to me?
What's coming to is we're not, you're voting not to recognize him.
That is correct.
Okay,
The only way
Mr. Ringshaw?
calling the question.
I would ask, would you rather have a chance now and not later?
No, this gets into the micromanaging of everything. We have a set agenda.
Mr. Ver does have a point.
Then I wasn't talking anymore.
All right, so,
Now, if we're gonna stop it, then I'll be happy to add all kinds of new things too.
okay, Mr. Ver, you have a point. I agree with you. So you vote not to
I
recognize
vote
him.
for
Okay, I did recognize him, so Mr. Ver, you vote not to recognize him? And is it, or a straw poll, a poll, excuse me.
I vote not to recognize any other people talking out of turn.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Mr. Majewski, I assume you've had the same feelings?
Let him talk.
Okay. So it's only 2 to 3 as usual, so you will not be recognized. Okay, now we've got the resolution in front of us. We've had a first and a second. Are we ready to vote on this? With the changes presented by the attorney.
And the attorney has those changes,
Yes, he does.
and we'll be voting on those changes.
Well, the amended.
The amended resolution. And just so you know, the resolution number will be 20-0213.
Me too.
Okay, let's take a vote. Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Or the resolution passed. Discussion of getting the board back out Friday prior to the board meeting. Okay? It's on here. I can tell you, we don't have to have a lot of discussion on this. We've discussed it in the office.
We're gonna have order in here?
Yeah, please. Order. We're talking about the discussion being the board taken on Friday prior to the meeting. Need a motion to consider? I'll make the motion to consider. Wait a second.
Can you back up?
Sure.
Tell me what you just said again.
The next item on the agenda is discussion being the board taken on on Friday prior to the board meeting. So you second my motion?
Yes.
Okay. I've had a conversation with office staff. We can get this done. The only problem would be the financials won't be up to date. We can get them to you, but they won't be up to date. Or, is that okay with you guys? Okay.
You can only do what you can do.
Right. Okay. So then I guess we got a first and a second. Do we want to have a roll call vote? Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rickstrom?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Ver?
Yes.
Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next item on old business, discussion amount charge for the bus service and who is eligible to ride. I'll let Mr. Militello chime in on this.
That's on me, and I sent an email out to the trustees. I don't have that for tonight yet, but I will have it for our February 24th meeting, if you want to have it then, but I will have it distributed to you by that date. If you want to talk about it at the 24th, we can certainly put it on the agenda, or we can continue it to the next regular meeting, whatever the board wants.
I would recommend we just continue to our next regular board agenda meeting. You'll have an opinion by then. That would be my motion.
Second?
Second. This is not mine. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. Okay. We're down to proposed agenda items for next month's meeting. Do we have any?
Well, there's the matter of the allocations from Torma for all the insurance.
Yes.
The preposterous $200 a year for each one of these buses for $5 million, a $200 premium. I'd like to see the allocation of all of our insurance lines, and we've been trying to get that. I know the attorney's been steadfastly trying to get it out of them. This is, in my opinion, unconscionable.
I understand, Mr. Ver. I have talked to the Torma executive director, and he promises me in March he'll have a representative for himself out here to explain all that, and in the meantime, they will be getting with Mr. Militello.
And then there's the problem of, is the township insured for the services that are supposedly being done by the bus program now?
That we have written writing from them indicating that we are.
And that's for going into people's homes
Yes.
and going into their driveways?
Yes.
Is that something that just came out in a special written addendum for the insurance?
No, it wasn't in the it's not written into the policy, but it's in a correspondence between the township and the insurance carrier.
We have checked on that in the past, and we were told we were covered for that particular item.
Can
So
the board members receive a copy of that?
You did. Mr. Militello sent it to me last month in an email.
I'll make sure it gets circulated again.
Okay, we'll recirculate it. And as I said, I talked to the Torma director today. He promises me at our March meeting there will be a representative here if it's not him himself. So, okay. Anything else?
I would like to add one thing.
Sure.
Sorry. I really would like to see some sort of action, some kind of a meeting or something for the parks.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
For next month, I want some.
Whoa. We've got to have a committee. That's not.
Well, I'm saying that some kind of action that gets us going on this.
Yes, let me explain, okay? Terry Wagner, our operation manager, is going to head that committee. He is going to give you a phone call to talk about what you want to accomplish in that committee so that he can get the committee together so they're all on the same page, okay? And that would be done in March, I'm sure. He'll give you a call tomorrow if you'd like. Okay? Oh, boy. Debbie, wherever you are, can you get me Terry's phone number, please? Sure. You have it? Dan has it. All right. Nothing else? Anything else? None being heard? Supervisor's report is in your packet. And general assistance report is in your packet.
You want that phone number now?
Write it down. Don't say it out loud. Otherwise, he might be getting a lot of calls on the computer. Okay. Right there it is. Okay. I'll ask him to call you, or if you don't hear from him the next couple of days, you call him. Okay. Okay. Supervisor's report is in your packet. Park report, general assistance report, and the senior center report are in your packet. Any questions on those reports at this time? Okay. None being heard, we're going to move on to the assessor's report, which is in your packet. And she is here tonight. She can answer questions if you have.
Good evening, Mchenry. We are almost done with our appeals. Our last day appeals for 2019 is February 20th. And once those are all complete, we have our final numbers. We will be rolling those over so that our website has the final 2019 assessments. Once all those appeals are done, final notices will come out from the county, and they don't do that until the appeals are all done. So if you did file an appeal, you should expect to get your notice sometime in March. We are already in the process of starting our 2020 values and determining the neighborhoods that will be visited and updated. And we should be able to begin that by the end of February, weather permitting. This is the time of year we start to get busier in the office where people come in to get assistance with their exemption forms and senior freeze forms, and any new residents coming into the area. Other than that, I did meet with Dr. Bellis from Urban Analytics, the company that's doing the cost study. It's supposed to be an hour meeting, but we met for 3 hours. He didn't have any idea what the assessment office really did. Very different from the area that he lives in. We have spoken by phone since then, and he said he would be sending additional questions, but I have not heard from him since then. So I would be happy to give him more information, but I don't know what he's looking for. So that is all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Mary. Highway Commissioner's report.
You have my written report, so I won't bother going into that. As far as the study goes, when the doctor was here, I unfortunately was out with the flu, so I didn't get a chance to meet him or talk to him. I did supply all the information that he requested, though, and he has not gotten back to me with any questions about the road district. So, just an update.
All right. Is there any need for an executive session today?
Yeah.
For what matter, Mr. Mayor?
Litigation.
Okay. Can we let the public do their final comments here?
We'll wait.
You want to wait? Okay. Then we have Mr. Beer is requesting executive session for litigation. We need a second to his. Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
I wanted to get a report from the county. Okay, because I want to talk to what the county has established as the plan. Are you did, okay, when I got all the details. Yes. Yeah. Just so you know, I wanted to just do this. I don't care. Whatever you're not, I think the discussion is good.
I want to have a backup.
All the rights are on. Yeah, brother. Just do okay, you're gonna nail me now. All right. Huh? Oh, yes, I can't do it here. I don't know. I don't even know that. I don't know. I mean, because that is an ethics violation.
That's why I
Well, we've got it. Okay. You might have to sign it. I don't know if you sign it. New old one or your old one? Then you have to sign it. Because it goes to November.
He's like, are you tired? I'm like, no.
Yes, they're there. We also have Target, and they also should be able to reach out to them. I don't know how much they're doing. Well, I can tell you something. One control. We have to do that after meeting. One of the wives. You know what Medicare works for? It is. All right. But can you go out 60,000? No, that's all right. Because they can charge you 1.5 times. What if they don't have they can't charge you. That's one of the system that rate. An example. You have another rate for somebody that's private. We can do all the different procedures, it all works out.
Hey, John,
But if everybody's on the same plane, we're gonna have to raise. Just so the doctors know this. Why you get ready to leave now?
Yeah, they go there.
It's not that.
It is Howard. Early voting hours, you would have to start calling them drug
Or just drop it.
Okay. Good, yes, you got to make sure. I heard that he gave
The other one's up.
that's the leadership.
Yeah, she misses sometimes. She's got to have a, the other one, she's nothing to do with it. Are you ready to come to your comments? Like to see how long the executive. Thank you. When did they do that?
The county don't want to send it.
Right.
Give to me, it's either thumbs up or thumbs down on your background check. That's what happens when you go to the council. Why can't I read this? They did something. And more importantly, is it seems that they're not creating a database of because they know what you want and I want that's the reasoning behind it. It's that sort of situations like
Executive session's over already?
Well, they don't know. They don't know. That's
And I realized somebody said that early voting.
Starts March 2nd in Seward.
right. It's
Woodstock.
It's on the Woodstock only.
Oh, John? Somebody asked you about it? Starts March 2nd.
Yeah. It's already.
Well, yeah, only it.
So we need to have signs posted.
My mom likes to play in the, right by
They were supposed to put one up.
On the roads approaching the courthouse too.
They were supposed to put one up because he's got one right there.
Multiple.
Bob does.
Yeah, multiple.
Yeah, we were supposed to do that. I don't have a 4x4. They can give them that.
No,
Exactly. The big ones? They're expensive. They're pretty cheap. Only $17 a piece. Yeah, we go to 41. Big ones? Yes.
And people on doing the signs do one.
That's what we try to do. Everything right there, Jim?
Kicked him out too.
I went into it. He's got to be there. Well, there must be litigation against his company. Or something to discuss it. Because remember, now you have to go. It's not even Jim filed a lawsuit against That's Robert's. Because that ends discussion.
Representing, so assuming it's what they're talking about. Is lost. So he can't be in there.
Those are the only witnesses that had discussions.
He filed a lawsuit for example, and Nunda against this, actually, he was originally counted out against the state. If the law's not constitutional. And it's his firm doing it. So assuming that's what he's been in there. Because they're discussing that lawsuit. It must be for him not to be in there.
No, probably. He said he was going to be.
It doesn't say, if you have the right, he said he was going to be. Yeah. I heard that they said.
I don't know what he looks like.
Neither do I.
It was just my name and my geographic coordinates. He did. He brought it up again. He tried to, at the end, he tried to give me the agenda item.
No, this is. That's why it's okay to record. I mean, it's just more. It's not like counter.
The signs aren't up this time. It says that you're being recorded.
There actually isn't required in all laws as a public place. There is no expectation of privacy. Oh, and that's just.
That's how the wiretapping laws are written.
Well, see, when you don't get information.
Exactly. Well, that's what you struck down.
Because they're in public and they have no expectation of privacy.
Exactly.
Agreed. Otherwise, one of the problems I have with a lot of guns is they get into the certified veteran police officers, like retired police officers, as separate from everybody else. They're exempt from the magazine bans, they're exempt from the rifle bans. But it's either we are or we aren't. They are not special citizens. They are citizens.
Right.
Whenever anybody touches on it, they give all the police officers protection, and I don't. Why? Yeah. Why not? Exactly. It's like because they've made enemies and criminals and
We got some good news for you. We know what you don't. Okay.
Well, we're not exactly sure.
We don't know what you have. And so then, why don't you see there?
Now we're getting inside the cake. Have you ever seen the movie Starship Troopers? We're not it's not some sort of service here, it's citizenship. You know, they're not. Yeah. I hate the veterans have been turned into coming from the ground. Don't treat me spread. Yeah. Neither do I. Neither do I. I want to make myself it was nice. There was no sand. People weren't shooting at me. There was alcohol.
You get the TV and you start worrying about it.
That's the answer to your question.
We actually had to, because I worked for the monthly we actually had to, this is not like something to have sensors put on the units. That if they got anywhere near the doors, the magnetic box, because it was on high rate of the Korean stealing it was integrated into the yeah. And now I think it was integrated into the band. And then there was a larger one on fastener that would lock it down from further out. I'm gonna step outside.
Just punishment for what you're about to do.
It is. That's your choice.
I know.
I need a drill too. This guy's another
Sure.
I don't know if it's this. It's this. You know, when it's like sometimes I notice that, you know, when you're sitting there,
We're going that way. It's like, right. Well, that's the whole point, you know, because that's how we did this with audit. 2 years ago, I went down. Where is it? I went down. Opening the Mchenry Township. My wife didn't know how to talk about this way, so I did public training. One of your trustees came by.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is not.
Enough of my troubles. Right. That's what. Right? Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what they're talking about in there, Jim.
I'll forgive you guys for that.
Tell me one thing they're talking about if you're not in the meeting.
John has that too.
I can look in the fridge in here for you.
Totally understand. Chuck, thanks for coming. We wished you could be here for much more. I'm Dorothea King.
Well, I appreciate
Yeah, I think so. It's, Mike's taking it. There's nothing that can be done. Like, we can't. So you want ice fishing? Like, there's no way.
Just going on.
If the county, and someone in the county,
No, that's too cold.
This was my
Yeah, but
They had this newsletter, Nelson's going up north, this weather, and he's going.
I'm going down south.
Yeah, well, this makes
I'm going to
sense.
Clearwater
This
Monday.
makes sense.
you need to go south.
Yes, I go to Clearwater.
Some people think I'm crazy, just keep going north. Almost get in that.
You go snowmobiling or what? Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people do snow. How far do you know it?
5 minute river and Eagle River.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people from Mchenry Township. Everybody's Eagle River, that whole area. Oh, yeah.
Debbie grandparents.
It's warm, it's nice in the summertime.
Yeah, that's the only time I've been up there.
I've been up there in the winter. A year.
But I can see it go south to Florida.
At the end of the driveway, here's some part of the railroad tracks.
I just wanted to remind you about this.
So when I was growing up, my dad and his dad owned right when he was little. And we had ground.
Yeah, I'm out.
My dad was out of our out the window and shoot the ground squirrels out the window. Totally illegal. I didn't know that. I know it was
I saw Hammerhead, so like, he's been out for a while. But it was very good synopsis.
More than 3 points in people's eyes.
You got 5 seconds, you got 5 minutes.
I stole that medium.
Which one? The old Scottish ones or the modern military ones?
Or the ones that
The Scottish one. Clay wine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's, I've never been a fan of especially.
Oh, I know.
It is very telling. That's a good post for them.
She's the dictator.
I had a mistake like that already. Really? That's what you want to see? These boots are the best things since boots were made. Oh, these are the best. These best boots. They're a very famous brand. You've seen this. Red Wing. That's right. Yeah, duh. Yeah, Red Wing. Yeah, exactly. I got it from Crystal Lake. The guy there, Jim Heisel. I think that's right. Yeah. But they're working independent because these
this last for like 5 years. Because I had another pair that I had for 5 years. That are still good.
It's only one person.
I have some really good ones. You're getting more of that.
Oh, okay.
You see me?
Well, you know,
There's another one.
I don't even feel like I'm doing something else. So, George, you feel like you're in a good pair of shoes?
I don't want to.
I did, and I didn't get a good.
I'm sorry, did you drive? How'd you get here?
I see you post all the time. You said you were talking on his, right? On his post. Yeah, you were saying you have to hit the board meeting, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought it was Rose.
I'm always curious. The people that did not win the election this past, they don't come to the meetings anymore.
What's your name? Comment.
Yeah. And he just, Chris is short sentences to say. I turned around and said, you know, you don't have to be long-winded to make a really good point. You know, if you just like hit yes. Yes.
They were first, they have an RIP, their name, they were the one that's the Democrats and Independents.
Exactly. That's what was my.
That was his copy.
Yeah, right,
I didn't put his name
exactly.
on it.
Right.
I did do it tonight.
Okay. Because it's true. You know, if it's true, you don't have to remember what you said.
Yeah, good point.
To drive out to Maryville, Indiana.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're following the pages on the board.
Oh, okay. I saw that. Look at it. Yeah. So that's probably right outside of okay. Yeah, right, exactly. Right here.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm saying. Is
all signed, right? And that's the one that was signed. And so what's happening is it's stupid me, I answer everything.
So me and her are running around with signs.
On Sunday.
Every morning.
And then on Sunday, yeah, because he does his own thing, and I do the North End. And then, and on Sunday, he would install 52 different homes. And put signs on Sunday during that. So. And I was, last night I did 3 more. And I didn't work. So here I am in the blizzard last night.
I was listening to it on the radio.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was snowing in the road.
And now it's cold.
Yeah,
Now it's real cold.
I'm gonna wait till Saturday, go on again.
A lot of people, I got through that area because they moved definitely, from the school, because there's so much less chance over there and everything like that. So there was a program that was coming in, doctors who were seeing signs.
So I went to my grandson.
Oh, I would put 3 sites in front of my
For Valley View. So good. Good to see all the kids. And I promised him, well, he didn't like that, but I promised him that I was going to do it. So he's like, because I always have a meeting that I can be. Okay, if I want to be in a meeting, I can be in a meeting. So I figured, you know what, this is a much more important one. And I figured I could still make yours if I had a little bit of slack.
I haven't even seen a billboard in like 10 years.
Especially
Like I go, and it's like, that's
Delicate, figure
I'm a
out-
delegate, I'm a Trump delegate, he's gonna be able to vote for me.
Especially because everybody in this sanctuary, how do you see support after these done first figure out?
How do I still support
Trump.
Trump?
He says, don't like taking the guns away or not.
If the voters vote.
I actually brought it up.
I'm not familiar with that quote, I'd have to
February
get
28th.
2018?
Yep, February
Okay.
28th.
You know how he kind of changes as times go. He might be different. I know he was kind of talking about red flag. Remember in the beginning, he was talking about red flag, and then all of a sudden he backed off when the NRA and what have you got to him, and he kind of changed his position.
He also supported
Right, exactly.
And he also came out against suppressors, which is more of a hearing protection.
Did he come out against the bulletproof vest or not?
I believe he said that was on the table at the same time as suppressors.
Well,
That was a Guardian interview.
you know, we have to be diligent with our leaders. And sometimes they don't hear it all right. Sometimes if we have their ear, we can get them to change their opinion to meet the needs of the people, especially if we're loyal supporters. So, I believe, you go home with who you came to the dance with, you know what I mean? You don't like ditch them at the dance. And you gotta stick with them. I mean, I'm also an Illinois supporter, which is even, but he has his ear. And he kind of knows the area. And he also was also a little wishy-washy on Mr. Trump. This is church country. 95% of the voters not 95% of the people, 95% of the Republicans that are going to be put, in this primary. So they're looking for, I said, if they take an organized town, they take the Trump side. Or vice versa. Yeah, Skillicoin's doing that in his yeah, exactly, yeah, he is.
Actually, just in an interview for me, with him, podcast.
Right, okay.
So that'll be out next week.
Yeah, we're like really good buddies. Yeah, because I actually was thinking about running. And Jim and I sat down and explained to him a lot of things. And I said, you know what? All right, I'll back you, And I think that he's 80% good on issues, and we can work with him on that 20%. But you never get 100%. If you do, it's really luck. I think we're almost there with Trump. I don't disagree with him on many issues at all. But I appreciate your comment though about not knowing the right vernacular in terms of the gun. But I'm an old man. I don't learn anything new. It's like what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is.
I know you take that.
But I appreciate it, so I'll do some, when I'm on the computer, messing around on something, I can switch over.
I highly recommend a YouTube channel. Put it on the background, listen to it on the last, called C and He's currently going through
Are we friends, by the way?
on Facebook.
Yeah. We probably should be. So then that way we can chat. I'd like to know what it is. You could find me pretty easily. Send it over to me so that I'll know what to look at.
He's going through all the history of all the field from creation to design, breaking down how they work. And him and his girlfriend, they take them out, they fire them, they talk about them. And they're like how long in-depth research.
Really?
Yeah.
insurance
All
is
right,
being
well, I'll
provided
approve
with
that.
that.
That will not be like when just, but on weekend or something.
You know, like
I put them on one.
Oh, okay, yeah, oh,
In today's meeting, the board meeting, if you could chop that up, that'd be great. You could probably get it within a 5-minute segment, all that. What do you mean? Chop up what Chuck talked about, what KBH talked about, what Peter Austin talked about. So we're talking about the assessor and the person who talks with the local people. I forgot who said that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab it and
Yeah,
chop it
chop
up.
it up, just have it real short.
I've got 3 episodes that we're doing right now.
Okay,
So
all right.
it'll go.
Well, we ain't for the election, that's what I'm getting to.
Right. Well,
If you teach me how to do it, I do it.
and remember, there's early voting.
and one of those episodes is because we had, my brain's a show.
I've been there, you don't have to say anything.
These are good at chopping up clips, putting together a synopsis. I don't know how to do that, also.
Well, I'm doing,
Yeah, right.
like, I just announced, like, we're having.
Carolyn Schofield.
Okay.
Okay.
She came on the
Yes,
process.
okay, yes.
All of her historical knowledge and this, but she made us promise that we wouldn't put it up until after the meeting because that wasn't all necessarily.
Yeah, it is.
Well, this is a rematch.
Yeah. No, Debbie came and got you back.
I can't remember, did this kill her?
But yeah, they've been in the
Or was it close? It was close.
He was actually really good at it.
Who's going to walk with us on the St. Patrick's Day parade?
I've never read it, so I can't speak. Alan, I met.
Alan is more in our corner when it comes to weapons.
And besides, we're going to be
Second Amendment.
That's why I wrote down.
She is more in terms of conservationist. She's very good at that. She's about the environment and making sure that we have the right types of places here in Mchenry Town that have all of the
Oh, we have one of their board meetings?
right things. Right. Well, you got to decide that. That's the way to decide. Right, exactly. I realize that too with her. I commend her when she's in Arizona, and I'm for her when she's in Arizona. I just don't like her getting into my zone. Okay. She tries to pretend.
You know, it's funny he's on the board of Winter Lincoln.
Oh, yes,
He was first.
You are because it's.
He's a marksman after well, he school us. And then here's the question. He was charging us $6:30 in the morning for it.
Oh, really? I'm not a candidate right now. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, because I was just saying,
It's all about them, what their positions are. You're not allowed, it's not a debate format. It's all about your opportunity to talk.
That's how I did.
If I am up for election, I don't know. I think. Oh, really?
Well, they say it that way, it's that way they said it.
I do have a place in Arizona. It's calling me, especially on days and nights like tonight.
Great as nice.
But you know what? This winter that we had was the same as the winter that we normally had in Arizona. That's where our winter is. Oh, really? So this winter, I didn't. In fact, it was worse in Arizona. It was actually cold. Not now, but I mean, for the most part.
That's what I like, because this one is perfect. Our economy is what we had so far. Sanctuary, that would be really good. Well, I would like that, and that will be, coming full effect. And, anytime before that will be more than welcome. Mr. Tom he's a good spokesman as well.
Great. I was a member there for a long time. I didn't have the time anymore with everything else I'm involved in to make that membership worthwhile. But, no, actually, I brought a whole bunch of
That's good. That's a good thing.
because only safety is universal.
Safety keeps us all safe.
You can't put your trailer in your driveway.
I agree.
Why do we want to like, they use that same thing, they give you a garbage, you don't even get there, we get you the garbage now.
And you know, you just don't just pick it up before you.
Well, we did.
Because the problem are the ones that get the hidden, ones that the parents have to explain to them it's dangerous and you have to be careful. And she's their best friend.
Or you get the kid that has, and it's great training.
What's your name again? Tall.
I'm not calling you.
Because I always try to get something off the hook.
Always the hook. But, great training device, and the amount of times I do is just demonstrate all that shit. So, you go, okay, here's two things. Which one's better?
Because we had to.
That's not really that wrong with you when you're driving around or an officer pulls you over to the side. Oh no, this isn't the one. One safety class should be taught at least high school.
High school.
I think before that was the parents' responsibility. Right. Yeah, but I can understand the parents getting rid of them. But in high school, no. They have to have it. Right. Vehicles. Yeah. Sure, because they are going to come across it. Whether it's in the back seat of the Chevy or in somebody's closet or somebody's drumstick. So what was that? Yeah.
They said it was for litigation. That's why Jim's engineer did, I mean, it is, I'm sure.
To go do that before. After everybody's left. No, true, yeah, okay, like a transparency. Well, that, in the county, that's that's the way it is. It's like when it's up on the agenda, we change. At the end, but you know, it's the last item on the agenda. So we just come back and we adjourn. And we can't deal with anything that's not on the agenda. So you have that assurance that you have. But how can we?
You can even announce it. Just do
they can do that for the next one. That would be illegal.
Oh my
Have further discussion on things.
But if you're not voting,
So now we wait and we have their comments.
it's good. I don't know how much more
John, where does the parade start?
They are.
Over by the train station.
wake me up.
These are the diehards.
Oh, yesterday. Yesterday.
How's it
Just
going?
like yesterday.
It's okay on this side.
Yeah.
I took over Becky's junior hose and back from took a header in the corner of the glass tub.
What day?
Front right in the glass tub. So, don't have any for all of that. Yeah.
14/11. I guess so.
I hope it helps.
Yeah, this is the one that's, what are we gonna do, wear our shirts right there by the.
I find it
I'm
helps.
an agnostic, so.
I find it very free for myself.
Yeah, good, okay.
Yeah, that's why I think that they're stepping off from there, so there's no parking. And if not, there's no parking there.
That will be quick.
It's I mean, it's a little bit of a walk, but you're walking a quarter mile anyway, so.
Good things and bad things seem to have to.
Are you gonna speak? Of course.
And I haven't even heard it from
That's what Becky, you should have recognized.
I was recognized.
He wasn't recognized him as a subject matter, but he's also a subject matter expert. And also, if you recognize you on Facebook,
And that's not, and that was why I wanted to speak, but I don't really have any speak. I don't know what it is.
I don't really.
What does it hurt? If it's stupid, he'll lose. If it's smart, it'll add to the conversation.
They're starting to.
Good. Yeah, he just
That's it.
There's no enforcement on them. At the county level, you wanna go to the range? I'll go to the range. Let's go to the range. You and me.
If you want to be safe before you go to the range, stand by the target. I can't seem to hit it.
I'll teach you.
Where did I get this way?
This is simple, you just aim at everything except the target.
What do you want? Oh, this is what. Okay.
The other thing was something else.
Public comment. Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize.
It is a very glorious one. It suits you up. You need an axe.
You got something that
At least. I'm closer to 14.
I got it.
I'm already up.
You should have somebody behind us and then it's like that.
Where's that, where were we on Saturday?
At the entrance.
It's on the square, right?
Oh, no, no. That's on the square. That's, yeah. I thought you were talking about Charlie Kirk. We got rid of
Okay. We're going to reconvene this meeting, regular meeting at 9:07, let's say. Are there any board member comments at this time, which are limited to 3 minutes?
I would just, I'll reiterate that I really want to have somebody or something going for the next meeting on the parks, and
Yeah.
I'll support that.
You will have, and I promise you. Terry will call you, or you call Terry and send it.
But one way or another.
Yep, it will be done. Thank you. That will be a committee meeting that you'll attend, Terry. Yeah, okay. All right. Public comment. Who would like to? Oh, sorry, Steve, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I would like the audience to take to heart the people that are being overtaxed. McHenry County is the 17th highest property tax county in the United States. That's out of 3,300 some counties and county equivalents. This bus program that was rightfully cut should have been cut years ago when the McBride program came in. It wasn't. Other townships have eliminated it. Nunda, Grafton. What about all the people? I've asked repeatedly, how many people need this extra service of going into their homes with groceries? How many people are we talking about? Nunda Township says 1. And that while it's less populated than McHenry, it's still about 70% of the population of McHenry, as I understand it. So, how many people are we even talking about? It's an infinitesimally small number. Okay? The McBride program is superior in every way. You can go up through the entire county. The township one, you have to do it within the township or some of these very close places, like the hospital. It's superior in time, many more hours. It's superior in days. The township program only goes on the weekdays. The McBride program goes on the weekends. There's far more hours on both ends of it. Do not blame the board for cutting the Sunday schedule from the Senior Express. That was not taken by, that action was not taken by the board.
It was taken by the board.
It was not. We
Yes,
did not cut out Sunday service.
You cut out Sundays for the express reason of trying to cut the costs and save the bus service.
Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to say something.
Please, Steve.
He can talk whenever he wants.
Yes, you're right. Go ahead, Steve.
board never voted on cutting Sunday service, never took a vote. Well, then ask the clerk to show the resolution for that. That was done ahead of anything by the executive decision of the township supervisor, okay? The board never cut any particular days or hours down. We wanted to get rid of the whole program because it was a duplicate program. Now, people can cry all they want and say it isn't a duplicate program. Okay, but we've never, this board has never been provided any information about these people that supposedly need the bus to go up into the driveway or people to go into their homes. Okay? It's never been presented to us. So, as far as I'm concerned, we have an obligation to the taxpayers to cut.
Okay, Steve, please finish up.
To cut waste, cut duplication, okay? So maybe people should help each other.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Majewski, did you want any comments?
Just one quick one.
Okay.
At the last budget meeting, we saved the taxpayers $67,000 because we've got the mosquito spray. So we screwed the seniors, but we saved the mosquitoes.
All right. At the end of your comment, thank you. All right, now it's time for public comment. Just go up the microphone, give your name. You only have 1 minute for public comment.
Mike Toller, on the lake. I'd like to take this second comment here to point out the fact that we've recognized one member of the audience, but another member was not. That's playing favorites. And the manner in which the board tried to vote that down was improper. Mr. Veer always asking for Robert's rules to be followed. The only way to stop discussion is to either table or call the question. Secondly, this has become a pattern with this board, as recently Mr. Anderson has started removing comments from his page that are showing how his half-truths about the 10% cut. So we are starting to silence those who would, that are our electors here for the sake of preserving your own narrative. This is not what elected officials are to do. They are here to represent the people. Are they not? You take an oath, you take a pledge to represent. You are a representative of the electors here on this board. And when it comes down to it, if you look at Mr. Anderson's page, Mr. Rakestraw to answer your questions previously and in other meetings about why we're so mean. Take a look at Mr. Anderson's page and see how nasty he can get. Thank you.
Name and town, please.
Linda, Wonder Lake. Mr. Veer, you've been shown a whole lot of things. The fact that you choose to ignore them is your failing, not ours. The sign of a true leader is that he holds himself to the same or higher standard than he holds others. Please stop using your positions for petty personal squabbles. This is not the time or the place. And never trust a man who won't let his opposition speak. He holds no faith in his own convictions.
Jamie Rouse, Mchenry. I just want to say how ironic it is that you guys are going to use the township because the county is not doing their job. So how funny is that? When we've been sitting here telling you that for how many months? Also, I just want to point out that tomorrow is the anniversary of the shooting at Northern Illinois University, the shooting at Parkland, Florida, and on Friday is the shooting at Robert Pratt down in Elgin. Right, Aurora, sorry. So when you talk about opposing all future legislation or taxation, you guys have got to understand that we need to meet in the middle. That man at Robert Pratt had that gun illegally because the laws here are not strong enough to remove guns from people that have purchased them illegally and should not have them. So I was really happy. I was more upset before because at least now I see the resolution says that the board is opposing this and the board is doing that. That's fine. The way the county is doing it is a referendum to let the people decide how they want to do it. Okay? Because I think that we need common sense gun laws.
I'm Rhonda Sparrow from Mchenry, and you've been shown many times why the Senior Express bus is different than the other. You had representatives from the Pace buses, you had people from McBride told you that they cannot handle the wheelchairs or the walkers. Senior bus service, the volunteers cannot handle the wheelchairs because they're seniors themselves, and they're using their own personal cars. So why do you keep on saying it's a duplicate when the representatives of the bus companies, also from the county, came in and told you it wasn't a representative? You just don't listen, or you choose to make up your own facts. I think you just make up your own facts, and that's very wrong. So maybe if you listen and use your ears instead of having your own opinion, maybe and somebody came up with the idea after you eliminate the buses, maybe we should do advertising, maybe we should raise the price a little bit. Why didn't that come up? Why do you just arbitrarily get rid of the Senior Express buses, which is needed? My mom needed it, she was using a walker, they lifted her up. Do the other buses have that little system? I don't think so.
Robert Beltran, still from Mchenry Township. Couple of things. The firearms resolution, I hope that in the future, it's okay for you guys as the board to say that's what you think, but please do not represent that as being representative of the township. You don't know what the township feels about it, and I assure you there's more than one opinion on this. So please be specific in the future that it is the board and only the board that has those opinions. Regarding the buses, I do have to disagree with the previous speaker. You can't make up your own facts because if you make it up, it's not a fact. So, but I agree with her that you have been told over and over and over again by literally hundreds of people, including many subject matter experts, that this is not a duplicative service.
Mike Guy, Mchenry. Coming to these meetings for the past few months, there's been very little I've agreed with on the board. I do agree with and like to see your support for the Second Amendment and gun sanctuary. I think that's a great idea, and I hope it does send a message.
Could you speak into the mic? We can't hear you.
I hope it does send a message to the county to get off their butts and go do something about it one way or the other.
Could you repeat your name?
Mike Guy, G-U-Y. Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chuck Wheeler, Mchenry. I'd like to thank the board for passing that resolution. And I'm here to basically tell the public what the county's resolution is. Okay? The county's resolution says that we, the undersigned, duly registered and qualified electors of the state of Illinois, County of Mchenry, pursuant to section 28-5 of the Illinois Election Code, 10 ICLS 528-7, hereby petition to submit the following advisory question of public policy to the electors of McHenry County at the general election to be held on November 3rd, 2020. The question reads like this. Shall McHenry County stand as a pro-Second Amendment county that protects lawful gun owners from unconstitutional laws passed by the Illinois General Assembly? You have a choice of marking it yes or no. It's not a question of is this if you agree or you don't agree with it, because if you don't agree with it, you can mark no. And if you do agree with it, you can mark yes. Why are we doing this? Because everyone says that there is a particular number of people that are either pro or against things like this. This way, we will know exactly what the numbers are. Thank you.
I just have one quick question. My name is John Sarth, Mchenry. And about that resolution that Mr. Wheeler just mentioned, why is it only the General Assembly? Because last time I checked, there was a General Assembly, a Senate, and a governor that has to sign this. Why is it only a General Assembly? Just a curiosity. Thank you.
Okay, are we done?
No.
Amy, I normally agree with you 100%, but when your statement, we are not being taxed out of our homes, that is dead wrong. We are being taxed. However, it is not the township. My tax bill is over $11,000. Well, less than $400 of that goes to the township. Over $8,000 goes to the schools. That's where the problem is. And Mr. Veer, we could cut this time in half if you would stop voicing your opinion. Do you know what they say about opinions? They're like buttholes. Everybody has one, and they all stink. Thank you.
For anybody else? All right. Motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
No, I think we have to say when the next meeting is.
The next meeting is on your schedule, Thursday, March 12th, 2012. Okay. We have a first and second for adjournment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Meeting is adjourned.
Who made the motion second? You made the motion? Who seconded?
I second. Right second.
I actually want to stick around because Chuck Wheeler is going to give us a pre-order.
Buy us a pizza? No.
Synopsis of what happened at the meeting.
Pizza? Yeah, I think so. That's what I heard.
I heard pizza.
Yeah, I heard pizza too.
Thank you for your support.
I really didn't hear what you said.
You could have brought the rest of the
I'm pretty sure it was not. You stay? Mary, no. I have a chocolate. I left to pack it. Did you grab it? That's really counting. I was wondering where we were.
Why doesn't it say that?
I left.
Where did you ready, Chuck? This is not a political speech, folks. It's going to simply tell you what happened at the county board today.
Everybody, Chuck, I mean, everybody.
Open discussion.
Wait, we get to talk? The meeting's over? Hang on, wait, don't start here. This is the seminar.
Hey, Steve? Hey, Steve?
I'm staying only because.
Mike, yeah, I'll be back.
You're gonna let her.
county basically did a report. And we had asked the county administration if this referendum was to pass, what would the circumstances be with us as the county, and what questions or what issues would manifest themselves as we move forward. And the administrator today basically outlined a number of factors that we as the county will have to consider, and they are numerous. Basically, under the act, should the voters decide to dissolve the township shall dissolve on the date that's stated in the resolution, and as long as it is at least 90 days after the election. There is no time limitation on the ultimate date for the dissolution set within the referendum question. Upon dissolution, there are certain township responsibilities that the county must assume, and these are the ones listed below. Powers and responsibilities of the road district. We have to take over that role. All the other factors are going to be roles which we, as the county, determine that we want to do. So, if we decide, if the county assumption of these duties and obligation is permissive rather than mandatory, what duties and obligations would the county board want to exercise? Will any non-mandatory activities be taken into account and then be implemented? What will happen to the remaining funds? Basically, they have to be spent in the township. The money that comes from the results of the disposition of assets would be in a segregated account established by the county to take care of the needs of this township, of our township, I should say. Other considerations are personnel. We can choose to maintain people in their positions with the county. We can choose to cut people from their positions, and we can choose to basically integrate them into our county system. So there are a number of different ways that they can do, but there are going to be a number of issues that are going to be on. We're going to be working full-time for this if this occurs. And it will result in a 10% reduction in your portion of the taxes, and the county will maintain the services that it deems necessary to maintain the status quo. And I can't speak for the county because I don't know what the county is going to do, but I just want you to know that it is going to be a dramatic change in the way business is being done. But I, as your county board member, will try to smooth through the issues and make sure that your concerns are heard on the board. And that's basically it. It's going to be a good change.
That's a 10% reduction for the first year.
Right, that's only for the first year.
And only for the township portion.
Right.
$3.07.
A lot of, I just want to confirm that people don't realize, they think when this is being said, it's 10% of your tax bill. That'd be great. Over $1,000 in my case. It's not true. It's 10% of 2% of your tax bill, which means at very most maybe $20.
That's
Chuck, we were at the meeting today and I listened to it. The feeling I got was it the county board does not want to dissolve the township? Is that the feeling you got?
I got mixed feelings, and I think that the beautiful thing about this is that the people will decide. And my opinion is that as long as you have a question which is clearly stated, and I know that the educational efforts are going to be done by both sides, that the people should be the one to decide, and whatever they do, that will be the will. You know, Valley High, people talk about Valley High. Valley High was started by a referendum of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's why I vehemently am a proponent of Valley High as a place for, the county's,
Politicians, relatives?
well, I don't know about that, Steve, but it's a place for the people that can't afford to take care of them. The beautiful and the wonderful and the horrible thing about getting older is that if you get really older, no matter what your financial situation is, you're going to be on Medicaid. Eventually, those facilities, and now we have a facility here in the county, we're talking about doing another thing where we will have a dementia wing, which the Medicaid population will be able to utilize. There's not any of these type of facilities for Medicaid people. All the ones that you're seeing, the beautiful things that are being built are private. Okay, and the beautiful thing is that we don't have to sell bonds or acquire a property. We have the campus, so we'll just basically be building on the existing facility or making it a little bit more powerful. But in terms of this issue, just wanted to just let you know because, this report, which I have printed copies of, which goes into much more detail, you will be able to see what things that are going to be considered. And basically, it's a lot. Yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, my understanding is the county board believes that if the township is dissolved and the county takes over the duties of the township, that one thing that they believe they don't have to do is the assessments.
The assessor, the county assessor.
Well, last I checked, the supervisor of assessments works for the county. Now, we go back, it's a bad bill. The way they wrote that bill, there's one line in that bill about assessments, and it says they go to the county, to the supervisor of assessments. And I don't know if you're aware of this as a county board member, but clearly the person who did our cost study, totally not aware of it, said, well, doesn't the county assessor do the assessment? No, not one of them. He thought even the municipalities, the township, like the city did their assessments, or the village of Greenwood or village of Johnsburg did their assessments. No, they don't. Okay? So whatever taxing, we may not like the system, but our taxes are based on the value of your property. So that has to be done. It's still required by statute. So whether the county board is doing it or the supervisor of assessments is doing it, it still has to be done. Okay? And the reason, and I'm just going to share with you what I told the cost study guy. The reason, again, you might not like the system, but when you're elected in a township to do the assessments for that township, you have to live in that township. We have a supervisor of assessments who doesn't live in this county, not even in the county. He does not know Mchenry Township. He doesn't know any township, okay? And that's what you would be asking somebody to take your values, the responsibility for the basis of our tax system. Again, like it or not, that's what the basis is. You'd be asking someone who doesn't know anything about it to take it over.
Bob Ross
Second
is a
thing
real
is,
professional. What do you mean he doesn't know anything about
He
it?
doesn't know anything
Yeah,
about it.
there's 17 counties that got rid of all the township assessors.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking.
No, you're not speaking.
Yes, she is.
You hijacked.
Steve, you're not in the meeting anymore. She's
You hijacked somebody else. Get your
Nobody
rap
wants
out
to
of
hear
here.
what you have to
So
say.
here's the deal. So yes, we have a supervisor of assessments who doesn't live in the county. When I say he doesn't know the property, he does not know the property like your local assessor does, okay? And you know, no better than most people.
Indiana just got rid of them all.
So, you know, we need to, so again, I'm not, whatever, if you read this bill, there are pages and pages and pages.
Sure. I did listen to the tape today, and there was one area, and they said they wanted to keep the assessors local. Exactly what we were talking about. They did say that, they wanted to keep the assessors local, because they have a personal touch with the people. And that were the exact words.
Okay, great. So, I'm derailed now. I have no idea what you're. No, part of it is, again, you know, it still is something that in the statutes has to be taken care of. If you read the bill, there's about 20 pages on the road district. God knows, the roads are great, we need the roads taken care of, that's very important, and most people focus on them because they use them. They know if they're not plowed, they know, they pay attention to the roads, I get it. But I guarantee you, with whatever issues there are with assessments, there is a process there. And it's something that, it's very different than this board. A board like this can make a decision with 3 people that affects everyone. If your assessment is wrong, you have a process. You can appeal it. Everyone has that right. It's built in. It's not. It's the way to. It's just a fair process. Okay. So you have the opportunities to look at things differently. But my point really is that if it goes over to the county, here's what's going to happen. And I know this is a big concept to understand, but if you take all of the assessments that are done on the local level and take them to the county, you'll still have an assessment, but the work that is required to make sure that they are fair assessments will never be done. You all are familiar, we've heard me talk about the township factor. Very easy to just say, just put the township factor on it. We've been getting some pretty high township factors, okay? And if every year you just let a 6 or 7 or 8% value be added to your property, that may or may not be correct. The reason that the assessor is there is to make sure that is correct. And if you don't agree with it, you have that process to appeal it. I guarantee you, if it goes to the county, there won't be that work. You'll still have an assessment, and the people who will pay the price on that will be the people who don't have the time, the money, or the knowledge to argue or hire someone to appeal their assessment. So who benefits from that? The wealthy, and it's not fair. And it just rolls over and rolls over. We had it happen in Lake County. There is already a portion. It's history. Lake County, the supervisor of assessments told all the assessors not to make any changes. They did their jobs. When they turned their numbers in, the supervisor of assessments took all that changes off. Guess what? That's not right. And they did it for 3 years. And so who suffers? The people in the township. So I'm just saying, pay attention. This bill is not just about roads. It's about township assessments and getting things done correctly. So you cannot like the system, but there's a big part there that nobody's talking about. And the county doesn't even want to talk about it. We'll just set it over here. So thank you.
I have some questions for Chuck. You want to?
Okay. Let me ask one question of Mary, though. Does the supervisor of assessments have an assessing staff that can do this?
They have their own rules and procedures that they have to take care of. They have a whole separate obligation to take care of. They do not have staff now that does any assessing anywhere in the county, none.
But they can hire just the township.
They could hire, but.
Go ahead, Chuck.
they're not gonna-
Go ahead, answer the
they're not
question.
gonna
So
people
Chuck,
that.
there was a,
Yeah, that's not true. John, why don't you come up here so we're in the.
I'm not sure.
That way we're on. No, this is not gonna save any money. It's not gonna save any money. We keep on. So.
Go ahead.
Here, I just want to say something. This system is not fair. You can say all you want, yeah, you can appeal it. You go to appeal, you have two people that work for the county that are appraisers. Who pays them? The county. So you're fighting somebody that's getting paid by the county. My assessment, 3 times over a 9-year period, every one of those assessments were over $100,000 higher than what my actual value showed on an appraisal. So it's not fair, Mary, no matter how you say it. The township, I'll stand by the township 100%.
Dan, you're preaching to the choir, we're on your side.
Right.
I understand that.
So let Chuck take
The taxation thing, and as far as the gun thing, you know why the Democrats want to get rid of it? Because of the taxation. It keeps going so far. Here, I
Dan, will you please?
ran into a
Chuck's got to go.
no, I'm
Someone
not.
was opinion.
Just give me 2 minutes.
Dan, please.
I ran into a man, and he said, "What do I do about my taxes?" I said, "Well, you can just pay them, or you can fight it." Well, and he says, "Well, something about not paying it at all." I said, "Then they'll take your house." And he says, "Under a shower of lead, they will."
Dan,
That's why they want to take away your guns.
Dan, I think we all agree with you that taxes are too high.
Too high.
No, I agree with you. I think all of us agreed with you that we could have lower property taxes, but the point that we're all here for is that getting rid of the township isn't gonna reduce our property
I
taxes.
agree. 80% or 70% goes to the schools. That's the problem.
81%.
But the whole problem of the taxation, $11,000, you take that same home anywhere else. In fact, I have a friend in California that does real estate. She said, Dan, you could have $1 million beach house for what you pay in taxes here. Thank you.
So Chuck, what I wanted to talk to you about was, we had, John Credo made some really great comments. He kind of summarized the meeting today. And he said that one member, this is a quote, one member suggests to vote no for dissolution, not having information for the voter is absolute garbage. Another, that was Peter Austin? Okay. Another member, and Peter Austin has been quoted in the Daily Herald as saying that a vote to dissolve the township is a vote to get rid of our services. So it sounds like you made the comment that, well, you made the, well, and you made the comment earlier that the reaction was mixed, like there were some people in favor and some people not in favor. I've talked to most of the county board members. I haven't found one person in favor of it. There was another quote that John said today that he speaks of the higher costs that will be placed upon the township residents just to maintain the roads. Yet another admits the township roads are by far the best maintained in the county. Maybe the board member should consider having the township do the county roads within the township. So, you're the one who said that, okay. So I'm kind of curious because I know you have politics to be concerned about, but it's when you were talking to us and we are being recorded, it sounded like you were kind of being in the middle. So what is your opinion on it?
It's just when I'm speaking from the county to you.
Do you have the
I
microphone?
want to be.
Do you have, where's the microphone?
Oh, I do. When I'm speaking to the county to you, I want.
But we're asking you as a person, what's your opinion on it?
Well, I think that there's not going to be a significant gain or reduction in your taxes, for one. For two, I'll say something that, I've said one-on-one to people, and then I'm talking to you one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
We at the county cut taxes. All that does is gives the school districts more room to raise your taxes. And guess what? You get your taxes and you don't even know what we've done because you can't see it because it's been absorbed by these other districts. So really, all we're doing is we're giving them cover.
That's not.
But
It's not true. The taxes taxing bodies are going, they put out their budgets, their taxes are based on the value of their
This is my, I'm telling you, this is my opinion.
Well,
You have your own opinion, I have my own opinion.
You can't, you're not giving them cover. When you say you're gonna cut taxes 10%, people believe their tax bill's going down.
I never said that I was gonna cut your taxes.
I didn't say you did. I said people believe
Right.
their taxes are going down 10%.
Mhm.
Taxes are going up. Why are they going up? Values are going up, and there's more and more exemptions where more and more people do not pay any or very little taxes. So if you need 5 million in taxes and more people are paying less, then everybody else has to pick it up. The reason, in 1993, there were 3 exemptions. Now there's like 15. The more exemptions, the less people pay, everybody else has got to pick it up. It's really math.
You're right
It's really
too.
simple.
On that point, you are right.
It's a
But
zero
what
sum
I'm
game.
just
You gotta
saying,
fix
but
budget, you
I'm
gotta
right
cover.
too.
You gotta fix it in
Because
Springfield.
And the more
our
of us that
what
move out,
we
the worse it
do
gets.
doesn't even
Funding
show
for
up.
schools,
Exactly.
and
And you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
80% of your taxes
Mary,
come from schools. That's where the problem is. The services are going to be cut. If you don't want those services, it's great. What are we seeing here in the
Exactly.
township? You're gonna lose services if it goes to the county. That's the reality.
We're
And
gonna
your
lose
taxes
services.
won't go down. That's the point we're all fighting, and that's where the county should be supporting us and saying, not only will we not do what you're doing, we can't do it for what it cost you to do it, so it's a stupid idea.
Well, I think
You should-
they've already
you
said
should
that.
not want
I think they've already said that. From everything I've heard is pretty much, maybe they didn't say it exactly like Mary said it, but they've said it.
If you read this report,
It basically says that.
Yeah,
that's
it
kind
does.
of what it says.
Yeah.
But not in that.
I mean, the report says.
Because you're going to have less services.
Yes.
Well, and it says upon dissolution, there are certain township functions that the county must assume and certain ones that the county may assume at its discretion. These functions are described in the table below. The only thing that's mandatory on that list is the powers and responsibility of the road district. Everything else is not mandatory. And let's face it, the township code, if the township is dissolved, the township code will no longer apply. And so therefore, the 3 mandated duties of the township will no longer apply. So Peter Austin has gone on record stating that a vote for the township is a vote to dissolve the township is a vote to get rid of our services. And you were giving us your opinion on it, and if I know you were interrupted, but as I was hearing you saying, basically you agree with that, correct?
I agree that there is going to be a reduction in service, and for some people, that's okay. For other people, that's why this is a referendum, that's why it's being put to a vote. So,
I understand
for the
that, and I know you're
individual,
trying to be
that's-
politically correct, but we're asking your opinion as a person, who lives, not as a board member, as a person, as one of us. And how do you intend to vote?
Well, I think that everybody's vote is their own franchise and their own right, and if I wanted to do that, we would just have open voting and we would just vote in public. I do that every month, 4
Well,
or
I
5
can
times
tell
a
you,
month.
I intend to vote no.
As well.
Anybody else?
I will tell you what I did say at the meeting. I did say at the
agree he has the
meeting,
right to keep
That's
his
true.
vote secret,
Yeah.
but.
but here's what I said at the meeting,
But I
and you
voted
can
no.
listen to the videotape and verify that this is what I said, and this is all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I don't think this resolution is going to pass, okay? But everyone has a right to express their own
I agree.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And we're hoping you're correct. We hope it won't pass either.
Well, from what I see, you guys are doing a really good job.
We're trying.
Thank you for
Thank-
your time, Chuck.
Yeah, thank you for coming
Thank
today.
you so much for coming. We needed you here.
I'll look you up on Facebook.
Oh, you're Irish.
Thank you.
John, who wrote this report? Where's it come from? The county
That's the
what?
report.
What committee? Committee?
No, the county board itself. Yeah. That's what he was talking
Why
about.
is it dated 1/7?
That's right here. That's what I wanted to do. Did you bring it, or did we have to look at you?
I picked mine up.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Another meeting
When is that?
It's Saturday before, we're gonna work in the McKenna's, Jam Rocks Parade.
Oh, yeah, John's going.
Increase, and people won't notice the difference. I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Did
So
you
they,
take it?
so that runs.
He's right in the middle.
So the county and the library don't get any credit.
I think it's
For the effort.
I mean, and I don't blame that too. Can you imagine what you're gonna have to do if this happens? Put it on the back, thank you.
You got the, okay.
You got catch there.
And he was not saying that.
He did. You think his job is gonna be made? His job, if you had that job, he would ask for a double. Yeah, he would actually, no, he would actually make his money that he made. He's at a quarter of a million.
Oh, I gotta sign my
Yeah. It's gonna be a hell of a lot of work, and we won't be able to do anything else but that.
And then there's no place, I didn't shop. It's a passion issue for me, and I believe in
Because I haven't had time to really stick to it.
I know.
This is one of those things that both sides of it.
I'm like this, wrap it up.
My window, but it's facing the schools, and it doesn't do any good.
Passionate.
You do? Oh, it's so igniting. I did this down in Springfield.
Can I get a couple of signs from you?
That was one line about a substance. Right? But it's even bigger. Which, that's my point. So whether we went home.
John, I can help you carry out.
Somebody's doing
I
it
don't
right.
like,
Some people want
you know,
signs.
like,
Right.
oh, we'll
Like
figure
I
it
wrote
out.
It's
After,
like
we'll figure it
That's what
out.
somebody made a comment on Facebook, it's like,
Okay.
so it gets put in.
And I'm sorry.
I get
Every time I hear my voice, just keep quiet and just let me walk out. I'm sorry, I said. No, I'm not sorry.
I don't want to hear it either. I say, you can't really ignore it. It works for the county. So the county is effectively taking it over, whether you want it or not.
Why?
It's just not.
And the county gets all these assets.
You know, people like that.
And this township is one of the most efficient run, just like our county is. You guys are very efficient. I like that you have debt.
Well, now we have no
There's
spending money. I just found this chair abandoned.
So now we have no buffer whatsoever. Yeah, we're way down to real time farming.
But they won't read the whole paper.
When there's no results in a meeting and the services go away and people want them back, you know, taxes are gonna have to, the levies gonna be raised. Thank you. Right. And eventually I got the history here behind me, because they're gonna blame me first. But this is which is good.
You know, it has to be, because as much as I've been yapping around town, and I have been yapping around town, there's still people that'll say, I don't really get it.
There's other people who don't even know what the boundaries of the township are.
I know.
I haven't seen it yet.
Probably 50% of the population.
Depending on where, because my girlfriend's 2 blocks outside of township, she thought she was in township and came here.
And the thing is that I think the young people that are voting for it, thinking that the county is going to be.
She lives just north.
You guys,
Right.
okay.
One block.
And
That's gonna be a board meeting. I can't say, I don't know what we're gonna do.
I get
You know?
those, but even saying that the
Yeah.
county gets to pick and choose what they can do. And
Right.
I will tell you, there isn't a day that goes by that somebody says, hey, we don't need schools.
Right.
We don't need fire, we don't need this, we don't need any of that, until you need it.
Past the funeral home.
I'm sorry, if you haven't called, if your house has been down, do we not need fire?
And didn't they ever go to school?
Right.
And are you an employee?
You want to take, I gotta go, man, thank you so much, I really, it wasn't personal, it was like, I understand it,
Right.
Thanks,
Tell me about it. She lives right across the street from the pavilion.
Or the other guy
Right.
who can't.
Exactly. Be careful,
Okay.
Want a sign?
I want two signs.
He's out there buying my car. Give me signs.
Keep the game on the car.
You have signs in the car? Okay.
Okay, Bob, I know where the car is.
Because you can get, save the township.
Is that the one that was for sale? I looked at that going to buy. Yeah.
My mother, Fatima, we brought her, she said, well,
Locked it
let's
already?
get on the bus. I said, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, you did not. Good.
They had a.
Because they're going out there for
down.
science.
The health.
Thank you.
Your car they
Right.
put a belt behind it.
You know what?
Like a little elbow, and he helped them into the bus. None of us systems don't do that.
Nothing important.
Well, they don't. They only come to the curb, and you gotta get to the curb.
We need more. I'm trying. The one person donated to the college of birthday. Yeah. Right, that's my co-host.
I'm gonna be going, I gotta get back to my wife. Recognize her. We did just go to the grandson's,
What's the name?
rehearsal.
Shamrock, or what's it called?
Shamrock the
St.
Fox.
Patrick's Day.
Shamrock the Fox, something like that.
Good
This weekend of the year.
St. Patrick's
No.
Day Parade.
No, take care, Mark, up to the after, really.
You're good.
You each other.
Alrighty.
Pictures on my head.
Alrighty.
Will be marching to save the county.
Drive up a year ago.
I would
Good
think
night,
Marcus
everybody.
didn't have candy or something. I know somebody was doing beads. Is that individual? Is anybody going to be passing it? No, I think Jamie was doing that. So do you want candy out or something? We're gonna be passing out brochures. You're gonna be helping me. I'm gonna be helping you. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try doing the 10 Friday so I can find you some parking spot or something. Or maybe even Ollie, because a lot of people down the route Ollie. Somebody said I could park over at the other end of the parade, but I don't think, I can walk there. I'm not gonna worry about it, I'm just gonna go and find a spot. What time should you reserve it? They said 11 o'clock, but you gotta get there early for a parking spot, no? So it's 11 o'clock early. No, 11 o'clock is when we're gonna be marching. Okay, so we gotta get there at 10:30, that, I actually think at 5, or even earlier, because a lot of people are 5, I know Jamie's gonna get all the details about where we're gonna meet and where we can park. At least what she said she was going. We get in the parade, she said we gotta give us the video. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. We gotta go through it. Oh. Where's my phone now? Oh. Okay, get my keys.
Where's she going?
She's supposed to talk, but she's doing something. I do not know where my phone is.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I can't hear you, Rhoda. Oh, there it is.
Good.
My phone. I was just thinking I was gonna spill my coffee. This is ginger. Okay.
I sure hope all that stuff's in the paper tomorrow, I really do.
What?
I hope that,
Oh,
I really hope it's in the paper tomorrow.
she had texted me and asked me if I had any pictures because she couldn't make the meeting. So I'm gonna send her photos.
Well, how can you?
I'm talking about the board meeting being in the paper.
Oh,